Follow the Sports Coma on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and YouTube.
Listening to the Sports Coma with Big Q and the guys, the best fucking sports podcast in the country. Welcome back to the Sports Coma with Big Q and the guy. DC is in the building as well. Podcast 196, breaking down the Saints. And now in the final segment of the show, we'll cover the LSU Tigers. The Tigers, of course, had an interesting article there, DC, talking about ranking the Tigers' schedule as the toughest in the SEC. if that don't strike us as odd, man, LSU.
How the hell is that not Alabama, man? Alabama been running through everybody for the last 10 years, so like, and how we get the toughest schedule?
Truly interesting.
Man, it's just complete hypocrisy, man. I wonder if you think Saban paid them people off who made the schedule?
Hey, he could. They basically are juggernaut, man. Money. He does that. But but a lot of people don't know about the LSU Fighting Tigers. The Tigers' schedule for the upcoming season, even though it says the toughest in the SEC. We're looking at the Tigers' schedule. I got it in front of me here. They start off September the 2nd against Miami of Florida. At 7:30 p.m., that's going to be a big game because Miami, the Hurricanes were pretty damn good last year. Right. That's a tough one. September 8th, they open up against Southeastern Louisiana, which is a gimme game. September the 15th, they're at Auburn. That's going to be interesting. September the 22nd, they stay home for Louisiana Tech. Then the 29th of September, they have Ole Miss. October the 6th, they go to the Swamp to face off against Florida. October the 13th and October the 20th and November the 3rd, they face Georgia, Mississippi State, and Alabama in Death Valley. So that's November the 3rd. Wow. Then November the 10th, they travel to Arkansas. Man. They travel up to the Razorbacks of Arkansas. They match them, and then they come back home against Rice on November the 17th, and they close out the regular season November the 24th at Texas A&M. So there you go. That's the Tigers' tough schedule going ahead, my friend. DC, what you think about them having the toughest schedule in the SEC?
I think it's because I mean, it's crazy, man. They did it to LSU last year. They had a pretty hard schedule. I mean, they had like a 5-game run that was like ridiculous. Like they played Alabama, like I think after playing who was it, man? It was Ole Miss. They had to play Ole Miss, Auburn, and Alabama all like back to back or something like that. I don't know why they keep doing this to LSU, man. It's almost like they're trying to sabotage us. But we're gonna see how it all plays out. We got a good team. And we're always able to rise above. Basically, we ain't gonna go below 500. So I don't know how excited I am after hearing that schedule about title chances, but this is a rebuilding year for us anyway. We don't even know who the front runners are for the key pieces of the new regime. So here we go. Tiger football is gonna be real interesting this year.
You ain't lying. I'm just gonna be honest with you. You're telling the absolute pure D truth there, because a lot of key positions for the Tigers are up for grabs, especially at the coveted running back position, where we just been spoiled for the last, I don't know how many years. We got to
see who got that lucky number 7, man.
We had some terrific running backs over the last, I don't know how many years. You're talking about guys like Leonard Fournette, Darius Geis, Terrence McGee, Spencer Ware. I mean, the list goes on and on. Alfred Blue was there. He had some really terrific running backs that toted the torch for the Tigers. And of course, the wide receiver position is another position.
An invitation into the league to be a running back for LSU.
Right. If you can dominate LSU, we got a draft. We got a first round spot waiting for you. A la Leonard Fournette, a la Darius Geis. But looking at.
Yeah, it should have been Darius guys. He went the second round. He should have won the first round. It was messed up how they did it.
Right. But at the end of the day, LSU have a lot to look at. We talking about wide receiver. You're talking about offensive line, defensive. They might be a little bit better. There, secondary wise, of course, Greedy is there. Of course, you got Del Pitt that's coming back off injuries. Right. So it's going to be interesting to see. But the number one caveat to the Tiger quandary, the question, and of course, JT Barrett was a guy who chimed in on this topic. And he basically threw his thumbs, his word in there and said that he think it's going to be Joe Barrow, who he played with. He spent 3 years with at Ohio State. Barrow, of course, transferred from Ohio State. He thinks his former teammate will be the Tigers' next starting quarterback. Now, Barrow, very interesting quarterback. Of course, you still have competition from guys like Justin McMillan. You got Miles Brennan. A lot of people like Miles Brennan. He had some opportunity to get a couple of snaps last year. And, of course, Lowell Narcisse, another terrific guy. They all battling for the spot. But when you talk about Barrow, who redshirted back in 2015, then he was basically JT Barrett's backup, for much of that. And he was even a third stringer in 2017. But Barrow said that he looked impressive. And they're thinking that he could be a guy who can come in and obviously compete for that QB position. Now, he made some appearances. Let's say he made appearances in 5 games over the past 2 years with the Buckeyes, because basically it was JT Barrett's team. He was 22 of 28 for 226 yards with 2 touchdowns. He ran 12 times for 58 yards in the score. In 2017, with Dwayne Haskins ahead of him, he slid back to the 3rd spot, and he was 7-11 for 61 yards. But Barrow completed almost like 74% of his passes when he entered as a backup the past couple of years. Now, JT Barrett said he knew exactly where to throw the ball, and he completed the ball. Now, of course, like I said, LSU has a lot of young guys. I just named a lot of those young guys, DC. They talk about Barrow's intelligence and the fact he transferred to LSU. Now you have all those guys, young quarterbacks, pretty much. You have an experienced guy coming in here. Is it Barrow's position to lose? Are we looking at the starting quarterback in Joe Barrow here?
I mean, you have to, man. When you got a guy that transfers that you wanted, like we went and wanted him. Let's be clear on that. So when you see that, I mean, the writing's on the wall. They letting you know they're not sold with Miles Brennan, in my opinion, and with less time and less opportunities, because we gave Miles Brennan some opportunities here at LSU, and we did it in games where we were losing, to see what he could do. Pretty much when you racking up, give me, trash time. And he didn't get anything but 1 touchdown, man, maybe out of 6 appearances. Obviously, they don't like what they've been seeing in spring training and in the spring game. So, Barrow, to me, this is position to lose. He's completed 74% of his passes. He done produced with at least 3 touchdowns in the 5 games that he appeared in. Brennan appeared in 6. And I'm more than sure he probably got a little more time than Barrow. And his stats are, not even close to that, and that's not even a lot of production. So I think Brennan and then pretty much wore his time out for the meantime, and he's probably going to wind up behind a guy like Barrow and maybe have another shot once Barrow is out of here, because he already has 3 years of experience. So I think he's a senior, or did he redshirt 1 year? Not sure, but either way, Miles Brennan is a lot younger. So I think he needs to do a little bit more.
I tell you what, man, I think that's well said, because he's not transferring to sit. I think he's more experienced than any of the quarterbacks we have. He played at a big time program. His familiarity with a pro style system. Right. So, and his familiarity with a pro style system, they like to air it out there, and I think that's what Coach Orgeron is attempting to do this year around. Despite losing Matt Canada, that was nasty. They did retain Dave Aranda coming to this next year, and they did replaced back the offensive coordinator was pretty much the guy that was the tight ends coach, and they moved him right back to the role he was before Matt Canada got here. I don't know how that's going to work and how you're going to sell it, but the people
probably not too good,
right? So that's what I'm saying. The creativity aspect of the offense kind of went away when what Canada was doing last year wasn't terrifically impressive with everything, the shifts and all that kind of stuff, but in the end, that was just one season. We know we knew he would have built
I
more
would have
upon
liked to see how he looked after the recruiting class.
Yes, absolutely. I agree with you. But now you're looking at LSU. LSU has a lot of newcomers, a lot of young guys in positions where we had established guys before, and the toughest schedule in the SEC. It's not looking too good for LSU going into that, moving ahead with all that youth. We just hope that those guys can pick up the system and that everything will click and the offense could be able to move the ball through the air to give the passing game an opportunity to move the game, and we have more of a balanced attack with that defense, because that defense has a lot of, even though they're a little bit more established, the transition Tigers team. We're not really, I don't know what to say we're going to expect out of this team. I think 9 wins would be good to say, but this is like one of those teams where they're building upon the team behind it perhaps. I'm not certain, but I don't know if this is a contending LSU Tiger team. I really don't know. You don't have that staple name that you like to hang the hat on to move the team ahead. But anyway, that'll do it today for the Sports Coma with Big Q and the guys. So if you enjoy the shows and you want to help out, go to our Patreon page, www.patreon.com/the PRO Media Network, and continue to share the show with your fans and friends, among other people, and join our social media network. For me and DC, thank y'all for joining us tonight. Sports Coma, episode 196. Peace.
All right.
You're listening to the PRO Media Network, the next level in entertainment. You're listening to the Sports Coma with Big Q and the guys on the PRO Media Network.